Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you also to Catherine and Learn for making this possible. It's so nice to meet you all virtually, talk face-to-face almost. Yeah, so I'm here from Canadian Parents for French, Quebec and Nunavut. We're a national network organization with numerous resources available from coast to coast. But I am going to focus on just a few of our offerings that we have specifically available here in Quebec and Nunavut. And hopefully some of these ideas are of interest to you. I'm going to drop my email address right now in the chat so that if anyone has any questions that occur to them after the meeting, you can reach me there, obviously. And this presentation has already been shared with Catherine, so she'll be forwarding it to you later. So there are links on every page. Each page is about a different program that we offer. So you can find all that information on our website. So the first opportunity I wanted to share is called the Mary Joyce Booth Fund. CPF Quebec and Nunavut offers 2 grants of $500 each. They're specifically for initiatives to create opportunities for youth to learn and use French. So it's very broad. Last year, one of the groups who won was purchasing new books for their library. Another one was facilitating a French after-school homework study program. The application is extremely easy and simple. If you have an idea in mind, I promise you it takes like 10 minutes to apply. The deadline is in January 15th, my birthday, not that anyone will remember that. But yeah, and you'll find out shortly thereafter. All we ask afterwards is like copy of receipts and a couple testimonials and really simple things like that for follow-up. So really wonderful opportunity there. Also available to parent groups and community organizations, not specifically just to CLCs and schools. So you can share that around. My next 2 slides are about 2 contests that we run at CPF. Both are national contests, but we also choose winners specifically just from Quebec and Nunavut. So great opportunity for students to feel like they're part of a larger French learning community across Quebec and across all of Canada. This first one is called Au Poésie, and it's a poetry contest. There are different age groups as well as French level learning groups. So we don't group all French learners into the same category. We try to adjust a little bit depending on what kind of FSL experience students are getting. But it ranges from grade 1 all the way to Cégep 1, grade 12 in the rest of Canada. This one, the deadline to submit is in February 9th, 2023. And it's a 100% virtual contest. So applications are done through our website. Both this contest and the next one, there's a really exciting opportunity, which I have in red here, which is for teachers who decide to do this as a classroom activity. If they have more than 10 students submit to either one of these contests, then they qualify to get a $100 grant or scholarship to purchase educational resources for their classroom. And you can do both. You could do Au Poésie and Concours and get $200. Contest, but if you really want it and you're worried that you're not going to get them in, just message me and you can reserve one and I'll have your name down and you'll be guaranteed to get that prize once you have your submissions. So our second contest that I've alluded to already is the Concours d'Art Oratoire. And this one's an even bigger deal, I would say, than the Au Poésie one, and it's a bit more involved too. Students write and memorize, or at least mostly memorize their speeches. They can use cue cards. We don't want them reading from a sheet to present. This is for older students, so like high school students, but again, split into different age groups and French learning groups, and again, with prizes just for the Quebec Nunavut group. But then for the oldest category, students who win in our territory go on to the national competition. And there's some really exciting prizes at that level. We're up to $20,000 in academic scholarships can be won for a whole bunch of different universities in Canada if they are to study at least partially in French. Yeah, so these are like 3 to 5 minute speeches that are pre-recorded on YouTube, and we may have an in-person version of this. We're still not quite sure, but we will do it virtually regardless. So if you want to plan for it that way, that will be available this year. But moving forward, something to keep in mind in the future is we often do this. Pre-pandemic, we did this one in person. All right, our next opportunity that I wanted to share with you all is classroom presentations called My Future in French. These again are specifically for high school students. So we have a presentation for Sec 1 and 2, and then for Sec 3 and 4. And it's a partnership with OCAL, the Office of the Commission of Official Languages, that we develop these presentations with. And the idea is to come to the classroom in person, which would be great, or virtually if that's preferred, to speak with students and just talk about the benefits of learning and mastering French outside of the classroom. How this isn't something that you just have to do to get a grade in school, or you just have to do because the government says you have to, or because your parents say you have to. Talk about like those benefits, lifelong benefits outside of the classroom for learning French, and the doors that it can open for you and the opportunities that are available to you, such as PÉLIQ-AN, which you will hear about soon, that you can take on to improve, especially conversational French, not necessarily the reading, writing, and grammar and all that, and to feel more confident and to kind of combat linguistic insecurity. So if this is something that's of interest to you, they're free. So you can reach out to myself. Obviously, there's also this link which will actually give you the contact of Solange Gassana at OCAL, who's my co-presenter. So you can also reach out through her to organize one of these, which we would be delighted to come into classrooms. Lastly, we have a whole slew of cultural events that CPF Quebec and Nunavut is hosting. The ones that are listed on this slide are virtual. So they're monthly, Wednesday night, virtual cultural events that are super family friendly. So last month, or no, it's still October, but we already had our October event. We did a virtual interactive cooking show where kids got a list of ingredients ahead of time, and then we made after school snacks together, made tout en français facile, like nice and slowly with assistance in English if needed. We also have some fun family game nights, bilingual story time, a magic show, museum tour. And again, these are all free and available to all French learners. The one that's not listed here, I'm just getting off the ground, but I'm extremely excited about. I even saw that one of our collaborators is in the room right now. We're going to be coming back in person to do some French sing-along events. I actually also happen to be a musician. I work part-time for CPF and part-time as a freelance singer. And so my colleague and I are going to be touring Quebec to a gymnasium near you to present some Québécois French-Canadian folk songs. The format will be for everyone to sit in a big circle. We teach, a refrain, or the core part of the song, and then everyone joins along. This is targeted towards families with kids aged like 7 to 13. But younger kids, older kids are obviously welcome. Parents are 100% encouraged to sing along. The idea being this will be very much a community event, friendly to French learners. So again, Français facile with some help in English as well. Yeah, with like snacks in the middle. So we have dates. So in Gatineau, if you're in the Gatineau area, we'll be there on March 18th. If you're in the Quebec City or Eastern Townships area, we're in the process of solidifying those, but fingers crossed we'll be there around February 4th, both Saturdays. And I'm actually looking for collaborators in Montreal. So if anyone is in the Montreal area and that sounds interesting to you and you would love to have us come and present at your community center or school or library, please be in touch. I would be delighted to help set that up. So here's my last slide. Let's stay in touch. That's my email again. You can follow us on Facebook. We post there regularly with CPF opportunities, but also opportunities through other partners. You can explore our website. And yeah, by contacting me, you can ask to join our newsletter as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Megan. These are such wonderful opportunities to learn French de façon ludique, so a really fun and encouraging way to practice French and to learn French. Are there any questions for Megan? Yeah, Debbie?
Just a quick one. The Mary Joyce Booth Fund, is that, you said two $500
grants or
grants? Yes. Is that
yeah.
per school or is that across the province, like two across the province? Is it, how does it work?
Across the province and the territory. So there's two
a total
available.
Of two. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Of course.
Any other questions? Okay, well, if you do have questions after this presentation, I will follow up with an email. Make sure you have Megan's contact information and feel free to follow up. Okay, thank you so much. Next up, we have Daria and Melanie, who are going to present the Facet program. Sorry, the PÉLIQ-AN program.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, can you hear me? It's Melanie Carriage. I don't know if you see me. You must probably just see Daria. I will begin the presentation and then I'll let Daria also participate. Thank you, Catherine, for the invitation. We're very happy to be here. So we're going to discuss the Pelican language project. Let me see my notes. So I am from the Direction du Soutien Réseau Éducatif Anglophone at the Ministry of Education, and Daria Teleshowski is my collaborator on loan of service. We are here to present one of our funding programs for language teachers called Pelican. Pelican provides opportunities for unique linguistic and cultural exchange between students from Quebec's English and French educational sectors. And in French, it's Programme d'échange linguistique intra-Québec. So let me give a brief overview of Pelican. So this program from the Ministère de l'Éducation provides grants to help cover the costs of language exchange projects between groups of students in the English and French sectors of Quebec. It is aimed at both public and private schools from elementary to secondary. Language exchange projects can take many forms depending on the teacher's choice, and it encourages authentic communication, bringing your whole self when speaking, thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
So our objectives of Pelican. So thank you, Melanie. It facilitates communication between groups of students from the English and French schools. It encourages remote and in-person contact between student groups. It allows students to interact in their second language in everyday life related to school learning. Allows the students to familiarize themselves with the culture of the students in the other language group. Fosters communication and develops links between Quebec's Anglophone and Francophone communities. Encourages collaborations between groups of students and local community groups, as well as develops the general area of training Vivre Ensemble et Citoyenneté, as well as the disciplinary second language schools and cross-curricular competencies established in the Quebec Education Program. So the types of authentic communication that we encourage through Pelican. So in the school setting, we can have students working class to class, student to student, one-on-one. So a student could be communicating with the class as a whole through Zoom these days. We have opportunities for cycles, whole schools, and community groups to communicate together. So why create authentic communication opportunities? Generally, this increases motivation with the students. It promotes classroom engagement, creates a sense of responsibility, develops creativity, develops cooperative skills, and facilitates certain types of differentiation. So authentic communication can be synchronous, so in person or virtually, which has been done for the past couple of years through Zoom, Google Meet, or whatever other platform you'd like to use. Also asynchronous, so writing letters, postcards, emails, actually receiving something class to class. So authentic communication can also be independent. So I create it first and then send it. So here students have written letters and postcards and await the response of the other group. We can also have interconnected communication. So we can create together at the same time. Here we see students that are involved in story writing together and board game creation during their face-to-face visits. And you can have a mixture of both if you'd like. Community collaboration is also encouraged. One of the more successful community projects was senior citizens reading to students from the Anglophone and Francophone schools. So this took place in the eastern part of Quebec, where the seniors would come and read to the students. Here's an idea of how these projects can happen. So for community collaboration, whether it's in the seniors residence, the local police or fire station, any local entrepreneurs that would be interested, or city councilors even for the slightly older grades, all this can be shared through Pelican and done with a budget that we provide. So just as a little idea, without going into too much detail, teachers from each of the schools would be given a data plan. There would also be a supply day provided for the actual outing. Transportation for these face-to-face visits by bus can be covered. Resource persons, should you like to invite someone to work with your students, the cost of that could be covered. Allowance for activities, so the things that you're doing with the class, you can get up to $25 per student in your class to a maximum of $750. And then should you want to actually have an overnight stay visiting the other group of students, should you be a little farther away, there is a $30 a night accommodation cost. But whatever the case, there is definitely a budget for these projects to come to fruition. So Melanie, now we're at the criteria for
Yes.
admissibility.
Yes, and so I'm the one that will receive the budget proposal, and there's also a project proposal that comes with it, and I can help teachers fill that out. It's a little bit daunting. But the criteria for admissibility is as follows. The project submitted must aim for exchanges between two groups belonging to the two linguistic sectors of Quebec, so between an Anglophone school board and a French centre de service scolaire. We also have projects at Littoral, because within the school board, because it's a bilingual school board, it's a special case. The project must promote the development of language skills and related curricular competencies, allow students to work together towards a common goal or end product. So it's a project that can go on all year, and it's up to the teachers to decide the frequency of the contacts or the activities, and it can be within the curriculum. It doesn't have to be an extra add-on. It can contain activities that ensure both groups of participating students have remote contacts. And before the pandemic, we had made it obligatory to have in-person contacts But now, because of the difficulty sometimes of getting together, or the ease at which people use remote platforms, we can accept that the students may never meet in person, though we still do encourage that in regions where it's safe to do so. And so that's why we encourage groups from the same or adjacent regions. And we provide for the use of the most economical means of transportation. Daria mentioned the bus, but we have had projects use different types of transportation, including boats and airplanes for the Littoral and Eastern Shores projects. And the application information resources for Pelican can be found on our website. And Daria will open, yes, we see the website.
So here we go, where it says how to participate. We click here, and then you fully have the information needed for 2 teachers to sign up for the Pelican project. The information document, which will walk them step by step. There is our Facebook group. So should one of your teachers be interested and don't have a partner, they're welcome to join our Facebook group. And then they can hopefully be connected with someone in their area from the French system. We also have the grant application form over here, which they would click on and be able to fill out. And the post-project report for the end of the Pelican project, as along with the form for the justification of supply teaching. Melanie and I are always here to help anybody who participates in the program and is having a little difficulty with the forms. They're not too difficult. You can fill them in online and just send it over. But should there be any confusion, we're more than happy to help.
And there's also an activity booklet that is full of ideas.
Yes, right over here. We have our technological tools and our pedagogical resources.
Yeah.
So if someone's not quite sure what to do, there's something there for you already prepared. You just need a partner.
Exactly. So I think
and our
that's
final slide.
You
Yes.
can show our slide with our contact info. You can contact us anytime. We have a question from Jennifer McNeil. So would connecting classes from 2 different school boards qualify within the Anglophone sector, you mean, Jennifer? Like two Anglophone schools? We really encourage the connection between an Anglophone school and a Francophone school for the Francophone sector. But, I mean, we do have a deadline for applying, but, obviously over the last few years, we've had a reduction in the number of projects. So if there's money left over, we could consider that type of project from 2 different school boards. You could email me directly maybe with your proposal, and I could look at it and let you know.
That's great. There's another question asking if it could be a private school.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes.
We just had we were also this year we collaborated, and we will again. Last year, we collaborated with Learn, the I Belong project, and we will be doing that again this year. And we did have Collège Laval collaborate with a school, I think of Lester B. Pearson School Board.
Yeah.
And they did a podcast project with a bilingual storyteller. So we funded part of that. So that's an exciting connection that we're making. And I was looking at the previous projects that were presented, and I'm pretty sure that could be also, you could ask for some funding if you wanted to do one of those projects, and then also have a in-person contact. You could ask Pelican to cover some of those costs as well. I'd have to look at it in more detail, but I think there's a way to combine. It's not like when you're shopping and you can only combine and get one special. Here you can get the discount, the special, and the funding. You can
Debbie,
combine
I see your
projects.
hand up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Question, we have a few schools that also, could it go to, I know it's English and French, could it go for a 3rd language, like an Indigenous language? Could we have some schools, could it be a tripartite sort of thing?
The tricky thing with that was we've had that request as well, and I think we cannot fund the Indigenous part.
Because they're separately funded.
They would have to be funded through a different project. But there is a project going on between Kahnawake or there was last year, and Lester B. Pearson that was funded entirely through we're the Direction Anglophone, and through the Direction des Autochtones.
Okay.
So there's a way to, though, there would be a way to integrate the third language. That is very
That a
interesting.
school be interested. Yeah, it might not be.
Mhm.
Yeah, we could fund the English and French schools and then help
This is
the
really
others.
interesting because what it
Yes.
sounds like is there's a good structure for activities that have been done in the past, and I love that you have an activity book and that you shared some of the projects that have been done with community. So for the context of CDAs, those of you here, some of you have a really good link with your teachers who are looking for activities that could, and you can help with the funding request. But what I'm hearing is that if you have some ideas that could potentially lend themselves really well to this project, don't hesitate to reach out
Mhm.
to Melanie and Daria, because it sounds like this is a project that could potentially have a really nice far-reaching impact. So
And there's a lot of flexibility. As I said, I'm basically, Daria and I are the two people looking at the proposals.
Yeah.
And as with all projects, if the funding does not get used up, eventually the higher ups are going to look at it and, ask about the pertinence. And, so we want to get the word out. And so the more you use this project, the longer it will last. That's
Yeah.
how it goes, right?
that's great. Are there any other final questions, either for
Debbie?
One last question. Did I hear you correctly in that you can pair up schools? Because often the schools don't know each other, right? I mean,
Yes.
the English schools doesn't know, even
Yeah.
know the French school down the road. You have the capacity to pair up classrooms.
We don't have an easy way. It's up to the teacher and maybe with help of their consultant or even with you,
Okay.
Or also through the Facebook page, though. The
Yeah.
teachers can make their connections by seeing on our Facebook group, our Pelican Facebook group. If your teacher signs up and say where you're situated and what you're teaching, they can post that into the group, and then someone else who's looking for a partner, if there's an even match, they can contact each other through the group.
And it doesn't have to be the same grade level with the same grade level, right? You could have depending on, it could be ESL, ELA, it could be FSL, Français langue d'enseignement, or it could be FSL and ESL. It could be whatever combo. I wouldn't put high school with primary school necessarily, but I would, and we've had groups of 4. We've had 2 teachers of one cycle in one school pair up with the teachers in the two or 3 teachers in the other school. So there's many, many combinations.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, exciting.
So thank you so much. I'm sorry to cut this short, but we did promise 12:15 to 12:45. And so I would like to thank everyone who came here and participated. We will share the recording afterwards in case there's something that you want to listen to again, or you want to look at that information once more. I will also send you a one-pager that has the contact information of all our presenters. Please feel free to reach out to the presenters today. They are wonderful people. We don't often have the chance to see the people who are actually reading the either the grant proposals or the project or funding proposals. You did get the chance today. You've seen their faces. They are approachable and welcome all of your questions. Thanks everyone, and enjoy the rest of your lunch. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Great to meet you all. Bye, Catherine. Bye, Daria.
Bye.